bad.
Let's talk about your conspiracy theory.
Are you sure?
Yeah, why not? What episode?
It's
8?
pretty scary.
Is it 8 or 9? 9?
8, 9, 10.
It's 9.
5, 6, 7, 8.
It may not be. This might not be episode 9, but I think it is because the last one I had labeled as 8, so this has got to be 9.
Good enough for me.
Yeah. So we're the Sustainiacs. He's Bruce Bennett.
Really?
Yeah, you are. Well, for tonight, as far as I know, you're
Yeah.
Bruce Bennett, and I'm Mike Vincent. He is Hot Rod's Custom Guitars.
Yep.
You just saw the number. You'll see it again. Call it. Great stuff. I'm looking at a PV stack over here that is freaking cool. Those aren't guitars. It's a killer tube amp, though. What it is a VK100 Valve King 100. And what is it, 4x10?
4x12.
4x12s? Nice. Little half stack
Load
there.
with Celestians.
Freaking beautiful. Probably weighs 1,700 pounds.
No, maybe 15.
1,500. Okay, cool. We'll add some weights if you like it to be heavier.
Sure.
I'm Mike Vincent of Ocean 7 Music, dude. Look, my swag came in.
Very cool. I
You
like
it?
It looks nice.
It's pretty sweet, isn't it? We also have them in white with the full color, like the hat, right? See the hat?
Nice.
Yeah, right?
Very nice.
And on the back?
Melt faces, save oceans, fight poverty.
Yeah. That's
Excellent.
what we're all about, brother.
Excellent idea.
Yeah, right? Those are all 3 good things.
Yep.
Tickets.
You know, it still never ceases to amaze me that Chattanooga decided to sell tickets to a train crash.
They did?
Yeah.
When?
Warner Park.
Did they crash them on purpose?
Yeah, 1912 or 1913.
kidding. Really?
Yeah. They took 2 locomotives, ran them right at each other.
I'd pay for that.
They were
and like high
spectators
speed?
were injured.
No kidding.
Yeah,
That's even
flying-
better.
They-
Flying debris and
They
shit.
were steam trains. So what do you think happened?
They exploded.
Boiler explosions, right?
Boiler explosions.
Yeah.
Well, when was this? Last year?
No. 1913.
19th. Well, I mean, you know.
Sometime around there. Yeah, just leave that to promoters.
You,
They'll
you
come
know,
up with
and
anything.
it's funny because when you think back, you think about some of the things that we've done, right? I mean, obviously humans get more intelligent or learn more, become less ignorant about different things. We
Are you
discover
sure?
science, we discover all this
Are
stuff.
you sure?
No, that's what I'm saying. You think that we would, right?
You would think so, yeah.
You would think so, but then there's things that you think that you naturally know that that's a dangerous thing to do, right? But
Well,
100 years ago, they're like, nah, go ahead, stand right next to these 2 locomotives and we'll smash them together. Like, nobody ever got injured by anything before that.
apparently not.
I mean, how could you look at this and say, hey, I don't know. But whatever.
Well, you know, that's an interesting...
I had to pay to see it, though. I'd have been there.
Oh, yeah.
I had to step back a little bit, but I certainly would have
I
watched.
would have, I think I
For
would have probably
sure.
been on the top bleachers, way back in the back. Made
Yeah.
sure there was at least good 40, 50 people in
Yeah,
front between
absolutely.
me and the trains.
But I would certainly, I would pay to see that. I would definitely pay.
Somewhere,
to see. I
I
mean,
think
monster
there's-
truck rallies,
I
right?
think there's a little bit of footage of it. It's
Really?
literally just like the last 2 seconds where
Oh,
the
okay.
trains come together and just bam.
Well, I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to check it out. You see all these guitars behind us? I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that are hanging,
We got a few.
and then 6. Here's another one right here, right? And then this, this killer Yamaha, but I mean that's pretty
the
damn
hard
cool.
road over there behind
But
you.
there's a hard road. There's one over here too.
nice Yamaha over here.
A nice Yamaha over here.
And the Hamer over
What are we
yonder.
missing? Yeah, the Hamer's in. And then what is that? A Carver? Is that what that is?
No, the
that's a
Carvin.
Squire.
The Carvin we sold. That's a Squire.
Oh, you sold that
5-string.
Carver.
Yeah, the Carvin's gone.
That was
picked up a little
that was
Gretsch.
Phil's, right?
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what the point is, these are killer guitars. There's a hard road Strat,
Yep.
which is a relic Strat, which is just that's a
59 Fender pickup, custom shop pickups in it too.
59 Fender custom pickups in that bastard. That is a damn nice car or rod. And then you got this. So
like
this
a
is like a
late
1981,
70 or
1981
81,
ish, something
yeah.
like that. Custom 24 Vox
Yeah.
that came in, and you went
with
through this
a,
whole thing.
5-piece through neck.
Yeah, absolutely gorgeous.
Which I was really surprised. I don't think I've ever seen it. This is a hefty little guitar.
Yeah. Oh,
This
yeah.
is-
This thing's got beef. This
Yeah.
is every bit as heavy as a Les Paul.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's heavy, man. It might even be heavier. I mean, it's heavy. I mean, this bridge is heavy as hell.
Factory brass nut.
Brass nut. How can it not be heavy? And blade humbuckers.
Yeah. This thing's got sustain out the wazoo.
Oh gosh,
it's
that thing
ridiculous.
is absolutely awesome. And this baby right here, which let's talk about this one a little bit more.
That's the
'Cause
Gretsch.
we have not talked about this thing here.
2655, I think it is.
Yeah,
Got a really nice. It's got a center block. in it.
Oh, okay.
So it's similar to like a Gibson 339 type.
Yeah.
It is made in China, but it's really nice.
This thing is in perfect condition. Have you found a ding on it?
No, none.
I mean, because I don't see one.
Whatsoever. No, it's perfect. And I've got the original factory hard shell case with it too.
Oh yeah, you showed me that before.
Yeah.
This action on this thing is
this was sold,
killer.
This was sold at our store next door, and the owner said, "Man, I love it. It's great. It's fabulous. But I really want you to build me a custom guitar. So let's sell this one and put that money towards the custom."
Oh, it's too bad he didn't have more money because this is a dream.
Yeah, it's a great little guitar. Anybody who was looking for something that they could just jam out on and have a great tone and great sound and great feeling. I mean, I love Gretsch necks. They're great.
Oh, they are great, and the action on this thing is absolutely fabulous, and the colors are perfect. I would put this right front and center of a punk band is what I would do.
That's a workhorse. That's a true workhorse guitar for reasonable money.
It is very reasonable money. It's okay. So, talk to me about this setup here that you have. Because you got two. What are these? These Gretsch. What are these called?
These are called the Broadtron pickups.
Broadtron.
Right.
Okay.
And they are Gretsch's newest version pickup. It is an overseas made pickup, but Gretsch has always had their own attitude towards pickups, and instead of making what we call a series humbucker, they tend to make a parallel humbucker.
Oh, we talked about that previously.
Right. And the series humbuckers are what we think of when we think of Gibson pickups.
Those are the in-series humbuckers.
But Gretsch has always done a parallel humbucker until the Broadtron.
So these are series.
These are series.
So what is the difference in the tone?
Well, it's thicker, fatter, much more like a Gibson.
So this is so
Definitely
if you know a humbucker Gretsch,
right,
this may not be the typical what you're thinking of.
No, this is a hot little monster pickup.
This is like a.
It's like a PAF.
It's a PAF.
That's what it's patterned after.
Not a POC or POS, a PAF.
Or POS.
Or yeah, exactly. Right.
Well,
right.
We all
like
know
the
what that
acoustic
stands
guitar
for.
we talked about.
Yeah.
The piece of crap.
No, point of sale.
Oh, point of sale.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just shaking your chest.
And what is this? I would call this like a 57 Chevy bridge.
Yeah, kind of a custom shop V shape.
I love
I think this is very cool.
I love the one, and I don't see it
that
here.
Was on the ball that day.
I don't. If you go back and check out the story of Brutus, which is my Bruce Bennett custom job, and it's got that piano bridge,
right?
Which is really, I think that's sweet. Other than the Bixby, that's the one I like. As far as aesthetics, I think it's very cool. But this is really cool. Tell me about these setups. What we got here? You got 3 and 1. What's the dealio?
Well, Gretsch has always had a long-standing association with Chet Atkins.
Okay.
And Chet Atkins had some interesting ideas of his own that he, wanted Gretsch to employ in the guitars. And this is a little bit of a holdover. So you have a volume for each pickup, volume and volume. Mm-hmm. And then a master tone, and then a master volume. Uh-huh. The idea being that if you put your selector in the middle and you work your 2 volumes to get you a blend between the 2 pickups, maybe you could lean it more to the neck or lean it more towards the bridge, and you still want to turn it down, you didn't have to turn 2 knobs, you only turned 1. And that allows
you. So you didn't have to turn equidistance knobs. You just turn 1, and you're all set. A little bit easier to keep your tone and crank it and drive the hell out of the tubes
sound,
or keep it
down. Get your rhythm sound, then get your lead sound when you need it.
Yeah, just a quick whoop.
Yep.
Drive the hell out of the tubes.
And the other advantage is too is if you decide to just swap pickups, it's no big deal for you to swap pickups, and you didn't change the volumes so much. You see?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I get it. I get it. That's. Yeah, this is a beauty guitar, man, and it's nice and light. You can throw this around and just get melts.
Oh, it's a monster.
Yeah. What is this guy, Stolovich?
No, Stephen Talkovich.
Stephen Talkovich.
Talkovich. I suppose you could pronounce it Stalkovich. If you wanted to. He's a builder. He's a custom builder out of Atlanta.
Yeah, that's a killer telly type deal right there, and then the Hamer. But the point is, and this.
And we reduced the price on that Hamer this last
week.
You
did?
Yeah, we reduced it to $3.99.
$3.99
with a gig
check
back.
Out these. Did you drop this? No, you didn't.
He may have. Good. I don't know what he did.
No. 9. This is a beauty hard road right here. I love this little LP style.
Yeah, we're having a lot of fun with that. It's a great little guitar, little rock monster.
Oh yeah, it is. I call it a Mustang for some reason. I guess it's a racing thing. I don't know.
Well, it reminds me of the old competition Mustangs from the 60s.
Yeah. It certainly does. But the point is this: a lot of great guitars and very, very well made, and by the master himself. Even the last Warrior he ever made is sitting right here.
Yep.
Check
that is a sweet guitar.
Yes, it is. This is a great guitar right here. Beautiful too. And hey, they're all in reverb, right?
They are.
Or call the number. Boom. He'll ship them to you.
Yep, absolutely.
Absolutely, it will. Anywhere in the, well, I mean, outside the States, you're going to be waiting a while right now.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Oh, that's awesome. What are we going to talk about today that's actually serious? Should we talk about CNC? You want to talk about CNC, right?
Yeah.
What does actually CNC stand for?
Computer Numerical Controls.
Okay, so it's computerized production of something.
Yeah.
In this case, we're probably going to talk about guitars and stuff, I would imagine.
Sure, why not?
Probably not like auto parts or anything like that. But
we could talk about auto parts too, but it wouldn't do our reader.
Yeah, well, we get it. Our viewer.
Yeah,
we're hoping to put an S on that someday.
Yeah. One
Sorry about that,
Mom.
Mom. Man. It's my mom. She's the one.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
I have to yell at my wife to, hey, we put out another one. Really? Do I have to watch it? You don't have to even put out the volume. Just click play, walk away, come back in about 15 minutes, and we'll get a view. That's all I ask. That's all I ask.
Gotcha.
So let's talk about it, right? Because there's a debate, right, between these things. Some people think that these things are great and accurate, and there's a lot to that in many industries. And many of our people who watch this, because we do have more than one viewer, really, and guitar players. One of my becoming a good friend of mine. His name is well, we won't say his name because I don't know if he wants me to, but I will. His name is Trent Zubri, and he's a bass player and lead singer for Hemi. And some of you people know Hemi because they're pretty popular heavy metal band out of Chicago. Cool. Travel small pubs, small clubs, stuff like that. Really, really good. If you get a chance, check them out.
I will.
Some of their stuff is really, really excellent. My favorite tune by theirs is Revengeance, which is just killer. This dude is metal as metal can be, but during the day, he's in charge of all the finance and for logistics for Kraft Heinz.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
But then he's got long black hair and a big beard, and he's just killing it.
Wow, that's
so.
Great.
What I'm saying is this: you got people in very technical positions that also play music,
right?
And some of them are not young enough to understand what analog is all about. And what that craftsmanship is all about. And so if you can apply this type of technology to make sure that your supply chain is perfect, why aren't you doing it to your guitars?
I think the problem is
there's your setup.
There's your mistake, though.
Okay.
There's no such thing as perfect.
But with a computers can't make mistakes. It's only programmer errors.
Yes, they can. Okay. Oh, no, they can.
Do tell. Well, let's argue. Well, let's not argue.
So what is a computer? What actually runs a computer?
Electricity. Mm-hmm. And programs.
And how often does electricity spike?
When I was in South Florida, like all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you plugged something in that didn't go through a UPS, you were an idiot.
Yeah, and how many? No, don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about the big dogs who actually know better and do it the correct way.
Right.
But like the small guys who've got a small CNC in their
the guys who spend some money, put a CNC in their garage because they're going to make guitars for a living now.
Right. Exactly. There's plenty of them.
Yep.
Right now, America is loaded in those types.
Sure, there are.
The problem is most of those guys don't bother to put in an uninterruptible power supply on their CNCs. It's very expensive, and they don't really see
they don't put a battery backup or a smoothing agent or something like that. I mean, I've got a smoother on my pedal board.
Right, exactly. Well, I mean, for years when we built PA systems, or put together a PA system, there was always some sort of power, like usually a Furman PL8 or something.
Well, hell yeah.
Power conditioners.
Oh yeah, you don't put a Silvertone monoblock amplifier in without a smoother.
Right, right.
Just don't do it. Yeah.
So the problem there is that when electricity glitches, and it does, it's many times a day, your machine can lose count of how many steps, because that's how the machine works. Okay. You have a motor. It's called a stepper motor. Mm-hmm. When you turn it by hand, you can actually feel the clicks. Mm-hmm. It's about 180 something clicks to go all the way around.
Okay.
And each one of those steps counts. The computer is counting that. Okay.
Yes.
Because it really doesn't know. I mean, there's no way to actually tell a computer.
Well, it
where,
knows to go 15 this way, 20 that way, 17 this way, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
That's
the
what
theory.
it knows.
That's the theory.
Yeah.
Yeah. It knows to count. So,
Yeah.
And if it counts and sends out every amount of so many amounts of pulses that makes the motors step through the little arc, then hopefully the quill will end up being in the right location in the point cloud.
Mm-hmm.
A whole bunch of ridiculous terms, right? But
No, it's all making sense.
It's a simple idea. It's just difficult to understand how we translate that into computer operations. The problem is this. Let's say you're in the middle of building a guitar, and truthfully, a guitar is a very precision instrument anyway.
Yes, it is.
If it's off by a few thousandths, it's off. I mean, things don't work on a guitar correctly when it's off by a few thousandths.
Yeah, I was just, I wanted to get involved in a conversation last night on Twitter. And I'm on there at Vincent the Dude, at Vincent the Dude. And also
Easy to remember.
And also at Ocean 7 Music. But no, the discussion was talking. He was talking. He had a specific guitar, and he could not intonate it.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't do it, and it was exactly. We talked about that.
Yeah,
We have a show. If you go back in the past, we talk about intonation, and it was exactly that. It was off by just a micro, just a little bit. You could not get it intonated.
Here's a terrible truth, but it's a fact. And a lot of luthiers who are worth their salt will tell you, yeah, I've run into a guitar or two that cannot be intonated without modification. Okay?
Right. Well, that's what they were talking about, is how do you fix that type of stuff. And I wanted to put out there and say, at Bruce Bennett, hey, dude, help these guys out.
Well, if you run into a guitar like that, first you got to determine exactly where the guitar is off. Okay.
Yeah.
It could be off at the fret locations. It could be off at the bridge location. It could be off at the length of the neck or the depth of the pocket.
Well, the one would and that's what it was. It had 21 frets instead of 20.
Oh yeah, the one we showed
or
here.
22 instead of 21.
Yeah, 22 frets a neck on a 21 fret pocket body.
Exactly.
Right.
That's the one.
Obviously,
we were
that's
talking
wrong.
Yeah.
So, but what happens if you get a perfectly built guitar, or seems to be perfectly built from the outside? It looks gorgeous, right? And you sit down and start measuring it and discover, hey, this neck is not quite right, or the frets are not quite where they're supposed to be, or this bridge is not in the precise place it needs to be. And here's one that'll throw you for a loop. And this has become a problem recently because people are changing gauges of strings, doing the low tunings and stuff. When you set a bridge for a set of 9-gauge strings, that's one location.
Yes.
When you try to set that exact same guitar up for 13s or something really big, that bridge might have to be moved.
Yeah, because you got gauge length, tension.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. And if you change any of that, you alter the other ones.
You alter the other one. Now, does action play into that, or is that so small? Oh,
absolutely.
It does. Okay.
Well, okay. We all know that when you bend a string, the pitch goes up.
That's what I was thinking of. I mean,
but nobody thinks about the fact that, let's say that your action is low and you press down. That's the same thing as pressing sideways.
Yeah, it's the same thing as
Right.
Slightly less than.
It just happens.
Gilmore
we don't think about it because
for sure. But
we don't think about it because down is the natural operation of what we think of as playing the guitar.
Yes, and that's also across the bridge here too. When you're changing the height of these,
right, absolutely,
and their distance, you're doing that a lot because you taught me this. You're doing this a lot for that reason, but you're also doing it based on whether it's a flat neck or a conical.
Yeah, you do.
Right, because sometimes you're bending uphill and sometimes you're bending downhill. Sometimes you're bending flat and so on. Right.
That's a play style detail. And that's again that has to come into play. You can't ignore it.
Right.
All of these little knick-knack details matter.
Okay, so let me ask you this: if I've got a CNC machine, can't I get the programs for a Vox Custom 24? Maybe that's not there, but I could get a Les Paul 59 or something like that, and theoretically, this machine's going to make it perfectly for me. Now,
well, that's
you're going to have, theoretically it is, right? And let's say, and we haven't even begun to touch.
If nothing goes wrong,
if nothing goes wrong, and there's a myriad of other things, one little thing is smoothing the electrical pulses into the machine to make sure that the pulses
consistent and
are
constant.
Yes, are right. So that's just one little thing.
I'll give you an example. We bought a machine.
Yeah.
Very large, very expensive machine.
Yeah.
It was actually a 5 foot by 10 foot bed machine.
Yes.
Moving gantry style, and that particular machine was extremely susceptible to losing count. And over the 10 foot axis, it would lose 70 thousandths of an inch, and over the 5 foot axis, it would lose about 35 thousandths of an inch. It would gain, it would lose and gain.
Do you know why?
Going either way. The only thing that we could ever come up with, because it actually had an uninterruptible, smooth power supply, okay? Because
is it wear and tear on the mechanics?
We felt like it was an issue with the way the machine was built. It was an older rack and pinion style, and if you think about it, you would like to have a continuous piece of rack. A rack is nothing more than, say, a square bar of metal with teeth cut in it, gear teeth cut in it. Okay?
Yeah, exact distances, etc., like frets.
Well, if you, let's say you had, over that 10 foot distance, you had a single piece of rack.
Yeah.
Okay? That gives you a continuous, uninterrupted flow of gear teeth for your pulley to roll across. Sure. Mm-hmm. Well, what if you cut that in an odd spot? What if you cut that and you had 5 foot here and 3 foot there?
Well, I think then you're really susceptible to humidity and heat. Joint. At the joint, yeah, humidity and heat, etc. At the joint.
Yeah, well, that's
right?
what happened.
I mean, it could raise, it could lower, it could this.
This particular unit was built in China.
And it was 2 different pieces.
It had 2 different pieces on one side and 3 different pieces on the other side.
Yeah, okay, so that would require a lot of measuring and calibration. So you'd need to be calibrating that constantly.
Yeah, well, we tried.
Yeah,
and we never could get it perfect.
Yeah,
if we cut a body on this section, okay, and then cut another body on that section, you would get 2 different bodies in the parts.
Okay, so let me argue this. This thing's off by 70 thousandths of an inch.
Which doesn't sound like much.
Well, what am I going to is...
Until you try
so
to
you're more accurate with a piece of sandpaper?
That's going to boil down to craftsmanship. It could be. Let's say a craftsman is taking his time.
Yeah.
He's not in a big hurry. He's not in a rush to make production. He's trying to build something the best he can possibly make it. And if he's got the eye and he's got the experience, then there's no reason why he can't. Because he can take off as little as he needs to until he, what I call, sneak up on the actual measurement he's shooting for. I've seen...
Yeah, and that's experience, right? Because some people go and say, I got to take off an inch, so they'll take off an inch, and then they're like, well, shit, it was actually 7/8. Right?
That's a pretty big blunder.
I mean, it is, but you know, you get
in the guitar world, it's not like that.
Yeah.
It's much more like, I need for this neck to be 2.255.
Yeah.
Okay, in width, and I need my pocket to be 2.256. Thousandth of an inch difference.
Yeah,
so
you're
when you put those 2 pieces together, they go together just slip fit, just beautiful,
perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
There are machinists or luthiers in the United States
feeling it
who
and
do
doing
that.
this stuff and feeling it and just right there.
It counts. All of that stuff counts.
Yeah,
you know, we've seen in the 70s it was really bad, and I won't mention who, but it was that big giant corporation starts with an F. They made a lot of necks that were pretty sloppy. In fact, it was actually, and the old timers will know what I'm talking about, but this move right here was real common.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's people out there that know this.
They know what I'm doing here. Because this side of the neck is the long side.
Yeah.
And you need it to be up against this side of the pocket.
Sure.
But it would go that way, and then your string would be dangerously close to the edge of the thing.
Oh,
see?
Yeah. So you would do like this so you could get down here and still not screw up your solo.
Right.
By going over the edge.
It's a silly
thing. No, it's not a silly thing. It's
it was
something
that guitars got out of the factory that way, which is one of the reasons why I've always said factory is not perfect. It's factory.
I think that's probably it for this show.
I think we're done. My back hurts.
My back hurts too. I think we ran all over the gambit. So we'll cut this up and get it out to you guys as quickly as possible, my friend. Again, Bruce Bennett, Hot Rods Custom Guitar Shop. Numbers coming up. Check it out. Also on Reverb. These guitars are all up there, and they're amazing.
These puppies need homes.
Oh, they do, man. And these are killers, man. A Gretsch, a Fox Custom 24, somewhere in early 80s, late 70s, right?
Yes.
A couple of Hard Roads out here, which
is a killer guitar.
That is an amazing guitar. This one here needs to be playing punk rock real soon, in my opinion. The Last Warrior, made by Bruce Bennett, right here, which is absolutely beautiful. And all kinds of great stuff. This Russian telly over here. It's not really Russian, but the guy's last name sounds like it.
Yeah, it could be, yeah. There you go.
Talkovich. Maybe Czech. I don't know.
Don't look at me.
Anyways, great stuff. Check it out. I'm Mike Vincent. He's Bruce Bennett. Peace and love.